Okay, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And let's do a moment of silence for Richard after. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Seems like we just did that for my.
I know. You never know how long you have for somebody. Okay, so roll call, I guess. Are we missing anybody today? Don't think so. Scotty. Scotty, that's right. Okay. But we have enough people to go for it. So, approval of minutes from the previous meeting. Did everybody get a chance to look at those?
I read them over, I didn't see
Yeah.
anything, I'll make a motion, we accept them
Okay.
as presented.
Do we have a motion? Do it.
I'll second.
Jeff,
Go
second.
for it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. This is for me to sign?
Yep,
Okay.
as well as for everybody.
Everybody signs?
Yep.
Okay.
You can take the cookie out.
Okay.
Shit off easier.
We'll pass that around to be signed. That's the packet from the last meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, approval of claims. Did everybody get to look over those? It's Richard's fees, right? And anything else in there that I missed?
Nope, it's just us.
I'll make a motion that we accept the,
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
Can
all
I
in
have to-
favor?
Can I ask a quick question
Yeah.
though, before we vote on that? I mean,
On the
I don't
claims.
have a problem with it, but why are we voting on claims that was turned in April and paid already in June?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
Because Cheryl can pay claims ahead according to the ordinance, but they still have to be approved by the board even though they're already paid.
What would happen?
Because if it doesn't, State Board of Accounts can write her up for it later.
Sure.
Exactly what she was gonna say. I mean,
It's
not
kinda
that
like
we've
what
ever
would
had a
happen if we
problem,
were
but
like,
what
I
if
don't
we
approve.
just, there's a discrepancy and the board doesn't,
Well, if it's ours, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't tell you. I don't think there'll be an issue because generally the only bills you have that are like this are ours
right.
or Barnes and Thornburg.
Because we probably already we have a contract.
It's just weird. It seems like we're wasting
It's
our
just like a
time.
procedure. Yeah.
There
Voting on
are a
something
lot
that's
of
already-
bills that are paid in advance of approval because they're allowed by ordinance. If you notice, the town board does the same thing.
Yeah, like a process.
Mhm.
Okay, so we had a motion to approve. Do I have a second for that?
I was like,
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Okay, new business, we have 480 Southwest Street preliminary plat. Trenton or Tilden? Both? The gang's all here, let's hear it. Okay, I did get a chance to look this over. Does anybody out of the gate have any questions? I'd kind of just like to hear what the vision is. Yeah,
no.
okay.
No, I did look at it. But I wanted to kind of
Yeah, let's have you guys.
have you guys explain what the deal is.
Yeah, and what we're going to do is, we want to build a couple homes that'll be affordable for people, and so we've got that lot. And our idea was to split it in half, east to west, but the way the alley is over time has pushed into the property. So we didn't have enough width to split it east to west.
Okay.
So the surveyor came up with the idea to split it north to south and have a driveway on the south side.
Yeah, the picture looks nice.
Yes, so that's why we done it that way. So hopefully we can build a couple homes there to offer new living for people in Spencer.
Yeah.
Will they be similar to what Mike's Sudol's been doing?
That's exactly right. It's the same concept as what Mike's been doing, exactly. The block up where we're 2 foot above the floodplain. We gotta check with DNR on details of that. Our understanding is 2 foot above that floodplain, and you have your spots in the foundation for water to flow through and that kind of thing when it comes up. And whatever other details they give us. But
They'll tell you.
They'll tell us. We were waiting on the survey and we just got that back, so we just wanted to get it all rolling.
So my question is, how is the lot gonna be split? I mean, you said that, but I'm a little confused with the driveways.
Do you have a picture
I don't know that I had that at the time that you, oh, yes, we do, it's right here. Should be in your packet, Tony.
That's the full lot though, Tiffany, and then we've got a new survey that we just did that split it.
Here-
Okay, so.
Here's the little version, so here's the alley on the north side of the lot.
We just got
We're gonna split it in half, north to south, but then the driveway's on that south side. So you also have the alley access, but it has its own drive back to the back.
So you're actually, the lot is gonna be split,
There you go, exactly like that.
so the
Yes.
driveway will be long to that one, so that's a bigger lot than that one.
Yep,
Will that cause any
Exactly.
headaches?
I would say you'd want a driveway easement just to make sure,
yep,
or something included that allows for ingress and egress
That's
to the
right.
other lot.
yes,
With it not being
exactly.
a square,
Yeah,
He should do it on the plat.
yep, yep.
Just out of curiosity, it's neither here nor there, but what's in the lot right now?
Oh, it's not-
It's empty.
It's empty, yeah.
It's exciting.
Trees that need to be cut down.
Yeah.
that, just a quick rundown, probably, I don't know, time flies,
What?
probably 10 years ago,
But there's not
that lot
a
was
description
either
of where the driveway's
gifted
going to
or
be.
sold to
You
the
need to make sure
town.
you ask
Okay.
him
Really
for a
cheap.
survey
Yeah.
of actual
It
driveways.
flooded the house so
Include
many
the
times, it
driveway
wasn't part of the
easement.
flood
Okay.
And if he
buyout.
has any
Yeah, the
questions,
FEMA.
it's David
Right,
Meyer.
it wasn't
Yes.
part of that, but they just wanted to get rid of it, so
Sure.
they sold it or
He can include
gifted
on
it to the
plat
town.
as an easement
The
for
town,
driveway access.
in return, probably 4 or 5 years, sold it to Sudol,
Okay.
who I guess has worked with these guys.
Yep,
It's behind the art hill
that's exactly right, the art guild.
to the north, behind the art,
North of the arch.
kind of across from the water
Yeah,
tank
exactly.
thing.
Yeah,
Does it flood there at all?
Yeah,
it would, yeah, because there's a flood elevation there that we definitely have to raise it up and above.
I know when Mike was here a couple meetings ago with that property that had the tree in the house problem and
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah.
I was thinking he was putting that about 6 feet. Was that right? We went down there to the
They're
lot.
kind of the townhome style, right, that match the other ones he's built,
He-
they're taller.
On them, he went above the required, what was required.
I was thinking it was like 6 feet.
And this
That was
property, it kind
irritating
of
the
goes
neighbor.
uphill.
Yeah.
It does clean it.
Yeah.
I would say that one did flood in '08, but it didn't flood, the last, not this last one, but the last decent one we had, the 24.
I don't think it's in the same flood zone as theirs is.
24 something, yeah, cause it sits up
Basically,
higher.
you're going under the assumption it will flood at some point, so,
There is a
So we're
flood
building above
map
that
Yeah.
floodplain, yes.
included in your packet if you can't.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, sure.
I see that was the floodplain map.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's flood zone AE, which requires DNR.
okay.
If you'd been much further, you would not have been able to do it at all.
That's what you showed before, yes, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see that you guys have a flood tolerant design. We'll let you work with Mike on that. I'd be excited to see some new rooftops where there weren't any before, add something to the tax base. Yeah, places for people to live.
Yeah.
We got a lot of jobs here, and not a lot of places for people to live.
What would you say is your anticipated rent range? Sale range?
Sale range?
You're selling, right?
Yep.
Well, that's a little bit difficult, because we gotta get details from DNR, what they're gonna require. Our whole concept is, we're trying to keep it as, first-time home buyer friendly as possible. Depending on what they require, will definitely fluctuate where that's gonna be. So we don't have a definite number on that yet at this
The
point.
DNR is a big factor. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our whole goal to do this in the first place was, hopefully, we can fit in the people that can't afford $400,000 homes, hopefully we
Yeah.
get the $200,000 range, but
Yeah.
we'll see what that number
It's
comes
hard
out
for
to be.
anybody to build something new and
It
meet
is
that
very
anymore.
difficult.
Especially the more red tape you have, like
Yeah.
with DNR and
That's right,
raising the house and everything, so.
yeah.
I know Mike was trying to stay in the 225 to 250 range for the most part from what he's been doing.
That's exactly what we're hoping for too, on ours, we're hoping to be in that range. And he was telling me, talking about this, he thought we could do that with these two, but he knows more on the, requirements
The
than I do.
DNR requirements.
We're learning on the DNR requirements, because we haven't got into that.
Yeah,
They should walk you through it.
yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it'd be awesome if it's so intimidating, I think, for anybody to build in the floodplain. And intimidating for anyone to buy in the floodplain if the house doesn't seem like it can take it. You know? So, hopefully it's a good, people that, the figure of speech I want to say is get their feet wet, but I don't know. But building and buying in the floodplain. So something safe that, you know, is sturdy and seaworthy, river-worthy. You know, I just keep them coming. I try to.
I assume these meet the off-street parking requirements.
Because he's putting in the drive.
Yeah.
They're putting in a drive, so they
Both of
won't
them.
have that issue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So Teresa, you're the general contractor. Okay.
I thought you were serious.
You know, we'll revert
Well, I
back to
could
that
be.
sign.
You seem to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from anybody in the group?
There is nobody in the audience to speak for or against?
Just
Neighbors,
Chris
I should
back
say.
Chris, you
Yeah.
say four?
I don't really see any, reason why not to be excited about it. There's nothing there right now, and this would be a great option for somebody, you know? So I would motion to approve.
I'll
Can I-
second.
Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
I'll send you an email tomorrow that details what you need for the second step,
Perfect.
which is or the final plat. So
And
I'll
do you
send
have
an email.
anybody specific I should talk to if you and I are just going there?
Used to, I don't think the same people are there anymore, but
I'm
I can
working
try
with
to.
somebody on a grant right now.
Oh, really?
I give you her email and she'll point you in the right direction.
That would be probably better than anything I could
Okay.
find.
And you can text it to me if
Okay.
you want to.
Her name's Amy Rhodes, but I'll text you her contact.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, guys. You don't need to stay for the whole meeting. It's just
Okay.
you're all good to,
Well, that's
and,
easy.
yeah. We won't make you stay the rest of the hour. Your civic duty.
You guys have a good evening.
Okay, you too.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. All right. See you.
All right.
Okay. So the next thing, old business, we got ADU ordinance on, the agenda today. So I did, I attended a town council meeting back, I wanna say in April or May, it was a long time ago. And sort of ran through the draft we'd come to with Richard and that you all provided great feedback on, to get additional feedback from the town council, what the vibe was on, I'm talking like a Gen Z. What the appetite was for approving that, or if they wanted to change anything.
We
Sorry,
don't
guys.
understand this language.
Audience
My dad used to say that.
sensitivity. So if you guys will all turn in your packets, let's see, it's under like subsection C. Okay, it's all underlined. Everything is underlined on the page. Subsection C of the ordinance accessory dwelling unit. So, and I called John actually today, John Stantz, I was on the phone with him for a while, just to follow up and confirm that I understood their feedback clearly, and Ginger, you're on the board too, so.
Yeah, there were two main things that came up.
Yeah, two main things that, do you wanna share, or I can read them too?
One was a concern about, I'd like to say one, about on-road parking, and the other was whether
Wait,
or
what did you
not, parking,
Oh,
street
okay.
parking,
Yes,
and the other was about whether or not it would be used as
Airbnb.
Airbnb, yeah,
Okay,
which I thought you'd already covered, I thought we decided
we
against
talked about that, I think we talked about, so this group decided to keep that in and defer to the town council, and just be like, let's see what they think. I think there was still some debate at the town council meeting, like, well, there already are some of these in town, some of you guys, I'm not gonna name names, because I don't wanna make them subject to code enforcement. There are a number of excellent ADUs already in town that are used for Airbnb. My in-laws stay at one when they visit. I'm pretty sure some of the most favorite homes in town have them. I won't name other specifics, but they're an appreciated resource for visitors. We have a significant tourism industry. And then also it does achieve that added benefit of providing disposable income for like retirees and older homeowners who aren't working anymore and need a way to bring in passive income. So I went back over it today with John, and I'll go back over this ordinance so we can go step by step and see where we're all at. So point number one, basically defines an ADU. We're fine with that. If anybody has any questions about that, but I think we keep that. Point number 2 was a minimum lot size requirement. Richard had said, and John confirmed, that most lots in town are 7,000 square feet or more. And if you have a lot much smaller than that, there's probably not gonna be enough yard space to build anything.
Or allow for parking.
Or allow for parking. I guess the question is whether a small lot, like, do we wanna build in any flexibility? This is something it literally just occurred to me, so I haven't talked to John or you or anybody, but if it were on a smaller lot and it was a single-family home and they wanted to do an attached ADU, so within the home already, within the footprint.
I still think the concern is off-street parking.
Okay,
It
it's just
is-
hard for me to visualize what would that,
There is not near enough
Okay.
area for off-street
Okay.
parking as it
And
is.
it's required on all new construction currently, so I would think that
That
we
it should apply to
it
this
should
too.
apply to this.
so, you guys are talking about parking, but I'm talking about, allowing an ADU, attached or detached, to be built or added to a home on a lot smaller than 7,000 square feet.
If you could provide for parking on the lot,
So
Because
that,
I think we have to assume that whoever lives there is probably
for
gonna
them
have
to
a
have a
car.
vehicle, yeah.
yeah. Okay,
I think that was the only reason the lot size needed to be larger, or
was to make sure
to
there
make
is-
sure there was parking
Okay.
areas available.
And Richard said most of the lots in town, like over 80% are gonna already fit in there, so I'm fine to keep that, I just thought I'd run that by you since I thought of it. Okay, the next point, point 3, is only one ADU allowed per lot. I talked with John about this today, like what about one internal ADU and one external ADU? Like maximum 2, but not too external.
You mean like adding on to a house?
Or
Then
converting a
also-
room that's in the house, putting on an exterior entrance, another entrance in the back, for example, but not adding to the bulk of the house at all. Just converting, like adding a stairway or something to the back. I'm fine to keep it to one ADU because I think then you run into the
I
parking.
think you got
again.
parking and we're allowing so many people to be crammed into
Okay.
one spot.
You wanna keep it to 1 per lot. I'm fine with that. I just wanna circle back and make sure we're all on the same page. Okay. Number 4, this was not really contentious at all. We kind of all agreed exterior finished materials should visually match the main structure, makes it look nice. Okay. Number 5, this is an owner occupancy requirement. So initially I had pitched no requirement for the owner to live on site. There was some debate about that, and I think everybody here, as well as the town council, wanted to keep the owner occupancy requirement. I think,
It tends to ensure
yeah,
some maintenance.
it
But
does.
it's certainly no guarantee.
Because, yeah, my kind of devil's advocate in my head is saying, well, there are single-family homes owned by, one occupant or whatever that are not maintained. And basically, the difference is code enforcement. Like, we don't have a staff person going around saying, hey, you can't park there, hey, you're.
You gotta move some of these water heaters and refrigerators out of
Yeah.
the yard,
Yeah.
mow the grass.
I did see, actually, I had a neighbor who was a renter, and the town came in, after so many warnings, the town came and mowed her yard and billed her for it. So there is some, but people are just overworked, there's not enough.
My
I think
reason that,
Generally, somebody has to complain to get
I
some
guess so,
kind of
yeah.
my
response.
reason I would wanna keep that is if not, we're gonna get every rental property that's already here, and now they're gonna be building
Even
a
more.
shed in the back to get more
Yeah.
people in there.
That's what,
You have your slumlords that will do exactly that.
right,
Sorry, that's
No, yeah.
probably not appropriate either,
That's-
but.
that's a valid concern, that's a valid concern. I think, and that's what John added today in our conversation, that he has seen so much of the old neighborhoods be converted into rentals over the years, and he's like, I just really don't want even more, like, I do wanna see some owners on the
Right.
street. So, fair enough, we'll keep it. Maximum size, this is, one that in my conversation with John today, he was like, I'm kind of neutral about this, just see what you guys come up with. So, what we have, what Richard drafted was the maximum size of a detached ADU is 800 square feet of floor area. So I thought, my home is actually 860 square feet, and it's plenty roomy. I don't think that it necessarily needs to be bigger, But there are some really big homes, and an ADU larger than 800 square feet wouldn't dwarf some of those, you know, it wouldn't be,
What is the county's, minimum?
I believe it's 600 square foot, at least it used to be.
Yeah,
I will tell you,
minimum.
state minimum requirement is only like a little over 300.
this is a maximum, so we have no minimum, because I'm fine with very small.
They're gonna have to abide by state
Sure.
code still, which is
The
a little over
300.
300, I think.
I think there needs to be a minimum somewhere to,
There's an appetite for very small units, and the smaller the unit, the more
here's what you
affordable.
run into though, is you get the guy on the corner selling sheds that can be converted into houses,
Easily.
but they're not safe, to
Every,
reside in due to their size, due to the window size, due to,
so everything, in this has to conform to Indiana state building codes and fire codes, and has to have a permanent foundation. So some of those concerns, I hear that, but I think it's already addressed.
The state code, if you have more than 2 dwelling units on any lot, they have to abide by
Is it the international?
the building codes, the design release.
Yeah,
I mean, you're getting into if you have more than, would be another problem with 3 ADUs on one,
sure,
or 2 ADUs, you're hitting state codes that may,
be prohibitive anyway.
uh-huh.
Okay, so we'll just keep it simple.
yeah, I just don't want people living in sheds in
Right,
people's backyards.
I hear you. It would have to have a permanent foundation, and again, go through all the same approvals as a primary dwelling with the codes and everything. So a maximum, I spoke with a planner, a professional planner, basically about this to get her ideas, but she said basically she would suggest a maximum square footage of 1,200 square feet, just give more flexibility. Not that very many people are gonna be able to build something that big, because it's expensive. That's much bigger than my house right now.
It's bigger than my house.
That's bigger, yeah, it's bigger than a lot of people's homes, but it just removes a little red tape and gives room for what people might wanna do. That's a floor area,
If you had a
a floor
multi-story,
area, so that could be two, yeah. Think of like a townhome or a
I
two-level.
would say if you went vertical,
Right, then you could easily exceed that, and I would think, I wanna give more room for more nice places for people to live, so I would actually increase the maximum square footage. She said, request to modify to 1,200 square feet or 40% of the primary dwelling, whichever is greater, and that kind of addresses the thing of, we don't want the ADU to be bigger than the primary dwelling, obviously, cause you don't wanna make it look wonky, basically,
It's an and/or 1,200 or 40%.
whichever is greater. How do we feel about that?
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay,
I think that probably stops some of your problems, Tony, with having the sheds
Right.
put.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so cool, we're good with,
Do you want a minimum though, to keep what he's saying from happening?
I don't know, I don't really,
Are we in conflict if we say we use 600 and the state's 300?
we can be more
We can be
restrictive than
great,
this,
yes,
but we can't be,
but we can't be less.
yeah.
So we could say minimum 6 and maximum 12,
But I mean,
or 40%.
Yep.
I would just like to see us, and I say this because my father-in-law done just that. He bought a great big 40-foot long and converted it into a house. The county, it wasn't big enough. There wasn't enough, so we had to add on to it to meet that minimum.
okay,
So I would like to, to me, it makes sense that our minimum is equal to whatever the county minimum is, so that
county, I mean, towns and counties often have different
They do.
stipulations, because in the county you have so much land, it's so, sprawling, so the properties tend to be more sprawling. In town, you really do wanna be compact.
but
'cause
we're
you-
talking about the minimum, to be safe, to safely occupy.
It
I
cannot
think
be any
it's-
less than 300, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I think
Because
for me,
state
that's
code
already,
requires that.
for me, that's already okay, because there are very cute, like, people do like YouTube home tours of really cute tiny homes, and that there's an appetite for that, again, because people wanna be minimalist, they don't wanna own a lot of possessions, and so,
And I agree, but you have to be safe. I mean,
Yes.
You can't
I
be.
think as long as like building codes and fire codes and permanent foundation and all those things are in place, we're not gonna get little ramshackle, something on wheels. That won't be legal.
So we're not referring to a minimum.
There's no minimum in what Richard drafted, there's no minimum. And I'm actually okay with that because I'm fine with deference to the state code of 300.
Unless you just want to put 300 in there, just so it's very, very clear.
If you wanna say, you wanna do a 300-foot minimum, or
I would even say 4.
You
I
wanna
mean,
say
you're only talking 20 by 20.
Which
it's
is,
quite small. I'm
Yes.
trying to
That's a
think,
1-story.
I think I lived in a 600 square foot apartment and it was cozy. I'm fine with, if we feel strongly about it and we wanna put in a minimum. I'm fine with
What do you think about 400?
What did we say the county, do you know that?
it used to be 600. I can't tell you that for sure. I can ask them. 600 square foot is still, I don't know, what size is your father-in-law's right now?
It was, what, 10, I don't know. I would hate to quote it wrong.
Well, like 600,
I wanna say it was 10 by
1200.
It's a good
40 or
range.
12 by 40, and he had
And that's
to build on a second.
floor
room.
area.
20
So a 10 by
30
40 is 400.
600.
I'm gonna bet it's a 600 square foot
And
minimum
it
for the
is-
county, and that's what it used to be.
And it was tiny for one person to be in.
I mean, 20 by 30, 600 is probably half of this room right here. That's
Again,
not very big.
it's not big, but again, my home is 860 and we got 4 of us in there and we're cozy. It's good. You know, to have one person in a 400 square foot unit, if they were, let's say, an old person didn't want to watch and maintain, or a really young person, single, and just needed an affordable unit, I think there's a market for it. I think there's a market for
400?
it. 400. I'm fine with that. And I think
Okay.
it's bigger than what the state requires, so minimum 400, maximum 1,200, or 40% of the principal dwelling size. Okay,
Sounds good.
you have notes on that?
I do.
Okay, okay, I was like, what do I need to make sure I send to people? Okay, point number 7, there must be a sidewalk from the street to the primary entrance of a detached unit, all agreed, keep that. Point 8, an accessory unit on the upper floors of the principal structure shall have an interior stairway to the primary entrance, etc., all agreed. I mean, unless anybody has comments, but I think that's fair.
Are the existing ADUs kind of grandfathered?
They are
Because I can
grandfathered in.
think of a bunch of them
That
that
do not
don't
have-
have sidewalks and probably
Don't, yes, I
other
have,
issues.
yes.
They are grandfathered, and there's really nothing in code that restricts ADUs now.
There's
To be
nothing-
honest, there's really
We're
nothing in
creating a
code that
legal
restricts
pathway,
it.
but all it's gonna do is burden people who, you know.
In the
basically.
future.
Yeah, in the future.
This will probably be more restrictive than what we currently have,
Yeah.
actually.
Yes, it absolutely will, yeah. But if we're doing something, we wanna do it right the first time. There's nothing in our code right now that technically allows or disallows.
Or disallows.
Right. Okay, yeah.
No, no, no.
Okay. Number 9, provided that the parking requirement is met for the principal one-family dwelling, no additional parking is required. So now this is what Richard originally came up with, and which this group initially green-lighted and said, yeah, as long as parking is provided for the single-family dwelling on the lot, no additional parking is required. However, when we brought it to the town council, Ginger and John, and others present suggested we consider and think about adding that parking requirement. So I called John today because AARP, I don't even know what that stands for anymore. Is it Americans with this? It's not.
American Association of
Amer-
Retired
Yeah, yeah, retired
Said
people,
people.
yeah. So they do a lot for like housing and policy, but they published model ordinance languages for states and municipalities to use in support of ADUs because we have a national housing crisis, et cetera. And their official guidance is not to include a parking requirement because of the additional cost burden, which would deter somebody from building an ADU, and because of minimum lot sizes and things like that, or ADU sizes that many lots who might want to build an ADU might not also have room on the lot to build an extra parking space, which would kill the project. So you would have no ADU built, the parking would kill the project. So they advise officially not. John said his preference would be to provide at least a gravel spot on the lot. I offered an alternative and he said neutral about it basically, but to talk with you all and see where we land and bring it back to the town council. So here's my thought is we say a parking space must be required for the ADU. It can be gravel or paved or whatever on the site. Or in lieu of an on-site parking space, an additional on-street parking space may be substituted if there's already sufficient curb area available. So basically someone has an alternative. If they live on a street that has plentiful spots open, they can, when they come to get whatever
I
plans
disagree
approved.
with that. I think that it has to require an off-street parking spot for at least one vehicle to meet what's in the town code requirement already for off-street parking. If I was to build a house in town, I have to provide, depending on the size, or an apartment, if I was to build an apartment building, you have to have off-street parking. That's required, so I don't know why we would go against
So-
that and allow it. And part of me is the guy who's plowing snow in the wintertime.
John mentioned that it is a burden to the street department when you guys
Yes,
need to.
I feel very strongly that off-street parking, even if it's just one gravel spot, if you don't have room to do that, then you probably shouldn't be putting an ADU in your backyard if you can't provide a parking spot.
I
But
live on one of those problematic streets, actually.
Where
So
there's too many people parking on it? Okay.
our house has a garage and we have a small, a short driveway, just big enough, I don't park the Jeep in it, it's too long. It's just big enough for the Kia. There is parking across the street, but only because the people at the vet clinic are so nice. They let us do it.
I hear you. So something that occurs to me is that I feel like this is kind of maybe a political or cultural statement, but I feel like as Americans we have because we're a very car dependent society. We have no passenger rail or transit. Unless you live in New York City or Chicago, there's no commuter rail. And we might walk on foot to go to like Babs or something, or to go to the coffee shop downtown. But for the most part, anywhere we want to go, we have to take our cars. So we all have to own a car. And several families, mine included, own multiple cars. So we're it's a big mental preoccupation about where am I going to park? Where am I going to store my car? And at a certain point, it's kind of, it does deter maybe developments we'd like to have. A lot of downtowns have been hollowed out by parking lots, essentially, surface parking. So places are easy to get to, but not really worth arriving at because there's just a bunch of parking everywhere and it's not like businesses. So I would be interested in, I think most people are going to agree with you guys. I want there to be parking provided. But we walk a long way in the Walmart parking lot to get to our destination. And we park way out on the far edge, and we walk, half a mile to get into Walmart, it seems. But we do have this expectation that when we go into a business or when we go to, even the place we're renting, that we should be able to park right in front of it. Do we think, or what do you guys think about the quantity of on-street parking spaces we have in this town? Could it accommodate a short walking distance to the rental? Like if I needed to park down the street, let's say on Montgomery, or I know John lives on Montgomery or Main Street, could I park down the street and walk to my rental? Or does it need to be right there?
I think that you or what you're saying is missing the point of we don't want to encourage more
Street
cars
parking.
parked, whether it's down the street 2 blocks or right in front of
You want the
this
streets to
house.
be clear of parking, but people already park on the street.
They do, but you have to provide a parking space for a house. So why would we, for an apartment, for anything?
It occurs to me that some streets in town are so wide, like Main Street. I'm thinking of Main Street in Montgomery because I walk through those all the time. They're so wide, they're 4 lanes wide. So really you can have parallel parking on one side and the other, and still 2 lanes of passing traffic can fit. Some streets are only wide enough that people could street park on one side of the road, not both. But that's where I feel like we over-engineer these roads to accommodate street parking, but then we don't like really when people park on them because it is inconvenient, especially for like utilities and street departments and things like that. But why do we have these roads that are so wide if we don't want to use them for parking?
I don't think you're gonna find that many roads in this town are that wide.
Right.
Yes.
And
And even Hillside, as it is now, is getting harder and harder to go down when
Right,
you have.
right in front of her house.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know.
I'm part of the problem, actually. on that.
You are probably,
That's me.
I mean,
Too many
people
cars.
always stop when we get to your house
Yeah.
to let somebody go through first.
Yeah. I guess too, I was a student, I didn't grow up in Bloomington, I grew up in a small town like this one, but I was a student in Bloomington and just had to get, on some of those roads in the old neighborhoods with all the students parking, you just do yield. You yield and let somebody go and then you
Yeah.
go and you just
And it
expect.
could be a block long.
I'm not saying that
Canal
they,
Heights.
Yeah.
they need to have, you know, a concrete approach off the street into a nice, I don't care if it's a gravel parking lot off of the alley, they just need, they need to provide at least one spot for this additional housing.
Okay. If we feel strongly about it, I'm fine to keep that. You all know my preference. I would love to be able to say that if someone lives on a street where there is plentiful street parking available, they should be able to substitute that. Why? Because of the cost burden, John said it would cost at least $1,000 to put in a gravel lot, for a gravel one spot. $1,000, I think, in some cases, may kill a project. It's not a little bit of money. And if somebody's like, hey, this renter can park right on the street, there's no one there, I park in my driveway, the spot's open. It's public parking technically. So I guess we'll take a vote. I guess, can we
What
do like
do
a,
most, I mean, you've researched other ADUs and all,
Yeah.
what do most of them include?
well, a lot of
no
them,
parking or some parking?
a lot of communities, with older ADU ordinances included a parking minimum. But we're in a national housing shortage, and so more progressive communities are eliminating parking minimums because they want to eliminate barriers. So a couple I know of are like Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, or Portland, Oregon. Obviously, like Buffalo, New York City, some of those have different ordinances like that just to encourage ADUs being constructed. In Indiana, a couple of communities I know of that have ADU ordinances would be like Columbus, Greenwood, I think. But I don't know that they're especially like liberated about the parking. Most communities are having the same considerations you guys are. Like, where are people gonna park? We don't wanna create a nuisance. So the ideas I'm sharing admittedly are kind of newfangled. It's like, I don't want to create additional cost burden. I think people should just have to walk down the street. That should be fine.
Well, like in Ginger's neighborhood and in my neighborhood, east side of town up there by the elementary, like Park Street, Harrison, East Street, almost all those people park on the street.
Yeah,
They have garages.
but it's
and
probably
they
full of
have-
stuff.
They have alleys with garages back there or places to park. They don't park there.
Because the
Everybody just
convenience.
pulls into the front door, goes in the house.
Interesting.
So,
That's
and
interesting.
Main Street, well, that's really a business that parks at Main Street. But
A lot
Which
of that,
causes a
though,
lot of problems.
and a lot of that is because 150 years ago when them homes was built, there wasn't policy saying, hey,
Yeah.
before
There
you
was
build
no
a house,
zoning.
you have to have
Yeah.
off-street parking. They didn't think into the
yeah, and
future.
John Street, Montgomery, I mean,
They were had
everybody
horse
parks
and
on the
carriages
street.
back when some of those houses were built. There were no cars yet.
And a lot of it too is, I mean, most families have more than one vehicle. So you do run out of room, but at least saying that you need to have one spot back here for them.
Yeah. Let's leave one spot. I think the majority consensus is let's leave that in there. Of course, does that leave open the option if somebody wanted to seek a variance to that? Could they still come in and say, guys, look, here's a picture of my street, morning and night, look
You
at all
can-
these spots?
You can request a variance for anything in code, basically, so.
Okay, okay. And I think it's a friendly town and somebody with a reasonable, they'd be heard and, what, can you attest to that? If somebody were to come in and say, I wanna build an ADU, I don't have the room or the money to put in this parking spot, but I live on a street where there's lots of open spots. You think that would be reasonable? Okay, all right, let's leave the parking spot in, and if somebody needs a variance, they'll get one. Okay. Okay, the last contentious point, gosh, guys, we've gone so long, I'm sorry. 10, no problem. The last one was about using Airbnbs as transient guest houses. My preference was to strike that, brought that to the town council, and there was still some debate. The point basically is that, like you suggested, there are already ADUs being used as Airbnbs in town. I don't want to create a burden on those, and I don't really think it's the government's business whether somebody has a long-term renter or a short-term renter. In fact, as far as the maintenance of the structures, they tend to be better maintained because they're always on the market. Every week or every month they're being rented, so they're in mint condition.
I don't think Airbnbs are the problem.
No.
It's the rentals.
The
But you
rentals.
can put something in there that specifies no long-term rentals, if that's what you're thinking.
I think the preference would be places for people to live in town, not just for
Right.
tourists, but places for people to live. So it's kind of like well, I guess if they want to use it for Airbnb, why should we stop them? Because it's a way to earn income and they're gonna look nice. I would say to strike that. I don't care whether it's used as a long-term rental or a short-term.
My opinion may be different
Sure.
from Evan and John's, I'm not sure, but I've stayed at a few Airbnbs and they've
Mhm.
always been so nice.
Very
and
nice, yeah.
Well kept up.
Okay.
I would have no problem with
So
that.
to strike that.
I-
Okay, recommend to strike 11. And again, just because I don't know how we would handle, there already are some in town, so are we gonna now knock on their door and say this is illegal?
They would still
Well,
be grandfathered.
Yeah, very grandfather, there's all kinds of things that you can't do
All
now
over
Yeah,
that is happening because
Okay.
it's grandfathered in.
yeah. Okay. Does anybody have a preference strongly about keeping the ban on Airbnbs and things like that? Anybody feel strongly?
If we keep in that the owner, the actual
Yes.
property owner has to live in one or the
That's what
other,
John said.
then I don't
Yeah.
mind getting rid of that.
That's what
I
John
wouldn't
said.
wanna get rid of that if we're also not
Yeah.
requiring an owner on site.
That's very fair. It's a really good point.
An owner is
Yeah,
not
I
the
guess
one
the
jumping in
only
their backyard.
concern I
Right.
have about these
Hopefully.
particular requirements is when somebody goes to sell the property, and somebody buys it with the intention of having 2 rentals. It kind of knocks the head.
There's still an owner occupancy requirement.
There's an owner occupancy requirement, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, so they.
Because if it's a specified ADU, you wouldn't have that with the ones you have now,
Mhm.
because they were not built under the ADU ordinance.
So
So
any
this is actually making it
a legal pathway. Yeah.
to stop what you're talking about.
Yeah,
If I owned my home and I had this unit and I sell the home to somebody else. then I
now
can't.
it's subject, or what?
And the person that's buying my home just doesn't wanna live there. He's just buying it for a rental. And now he's got 2 rentals.
You probably have to seek a variance to
But I would
subdivide it.
say he would be against the ADU ordinance.
Yeah, I
though.
wonder if
How would that be
realtors,
caught?
Good question. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things that
You have to have somebody complain.
you sell your house, you don't even think about,
Yeah.
checking something like that. I
Yeah.
can see over time,
Yeah,
as many
Somebody had to
people as
call
we
it
have
in.
rentals.
Yeah.
there's a lot of things I've seen that I haven't called in. People,
So
It's also up to the owner to do their or the buyer to do their due diligence before purchasing a property.
That's
I know it doesn't happen, but it's.
Yeah.
And that's something a realtor is gonna point out to,
Yeah.
to a prospective buyer.
no, they're not gonna kill a deal.
You know, you got this unit out of back generating income for you, because we almost rent out this one too. You know, I can see that really drifting over time,
Right.
as more homeowners sell and you get more people buying them just for rentals.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I was once told ignorance of the law does not mean you don't have to abide. by it.
Yeah,
So.
you can still be prosecuted.
right,
But,
you know,
yeah, no, that's a good point.
trying to catch that and enforce
Yeah.
it going into the
That's
future.
difficult.
So your question, am I understanding right, that it gets at basically for non-conforming ADUs right now, where there's a renter in the primary residence and a renter in the ADU. If the owner, who is MIA, eventually sells that property, it'll have to be sold to one new owner who is subject to the ADU ordinance at that point.
I'd have to ask, because I don't know how the grandfather clause works.
Okay.
I think he was talking about if he
the
lived in
future.
his,
Right.
and he's selling his personal home.
What would happen to your renter?
No, what would happen if the person that bought his home, that also has the second residence, wanted to rent both?
Oh,
If I had the ADU already on my property, and the new owner of my home just is gonna rent out
just
my
is
home,
gonna like go against
so
the
now
law.
he's got two renters.
Yeah,
that's what
that
I was
he would
saying
be
a while
breaking the
ago.
law. I mean,
Somebody
he'd be,
buys it to rent
Yeah.
both.
I would have to get clarification from an actual attorney for that one.
when people, break the law undetected, they're still breaking the law, and like you said, Tiffany, just somebody has to call it in, basically. But they wouldn't be.
Enforcement is still a problem.
Yeah. They wouldn't be legal what they're doing, but, we'd have to find out somehow, you know. Okay, guys, I've kept you really late past when we normally are here, but I appreciate all your feedback. I know I push sometimes, but I'm seeking out counterpoints, good counterpoints, and you've made good counterpoints, so we're gonna keep all the feedback. Obviously, I'll never override you, but I appreciate all the feedback. Anything else on the ADU or any public comment? Hearing none. Plan commission comments?
Is there anything that we need to be doing or we should be doing with the new strip mall being built? Is there any part of that that should have came?
New strip
before us?
mall? Where?
Next to Busy Bees.
Busy bee.
Chris Ball
Well,
building.
that would be a question.
Four-unit strip mall. I just didn't know if there, any part of that should
That's
have.
I
the
didn't
west
know anything about it, so.
Yeah, I wonder about stuff like when there's a new development in town, they don't come to us, they go to the town council?
They have to go to Cheryl for a building permit, but
Okay.
if that is a four-strip, that requires a state design release. If he's not splitting the lots, there's nothing that needs to come before you. But I don't know what his intentions are, cause I didn't even know there was anything going on,
I think he
so.
owns all of that already, and he's just putting in that empty back spot, he's putting in the 4-unit.
Is that where all that gravel's being dumped?
Yes.
I assumed that was mainstream related, I had,
But it
Um,
just seems like there should be somewhere, whether it's us, the town board, not just a building inspector.
well, the state, they have to get a state design release, which is something the state has to handle. They have to meet commercial codes. That, I'll have to ask Cheryl and Chris Ball, I don't have a clue.
I have a comment slash a question for Tiffany, really. I am interested in taking an inventory of the entire zoning ordinance that we have right now. Not changing a thing, but just as almost like a trust building exercise, and so that this group can know what's in there, what it says, and convert it into slightly more layman's terms to make it more accessible. Without changing anything, but
That-
just to redraft it all.
That would be, there's code that allows for that, I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
They just
It'd be a
redid
long thing.
theirs in 2018. I know the plan commission has to, are you talking changing the maps or changing the code?
Well, separately, I'm interested in both, at least taking a look at them, because I feel like I'm not super familiar with what's in the code or what's on the map. I've read through both, I've looked at both, but I think it would benefit me just to go through it, maybe with everyone, and
Do you have a complete?
I think I have a complete copy of the ordinance. I don't know that I have the most updated map.
I can
The
send
ordinance is on the town website.
Well, I can send you the most updated version I have. The county was going to at one time put it on their website, on their GIS mapping site, and then they switched.
The county,
Originally, WTH was gonna put it on for us.
Okay.
But then the mappers changed and it
Okay.
kind of fell by the wayside. so.
okay. So I'd be interested in going over that, sort of, again, just to flag, like, we won't change a thing in places where the language isn't clear or it's difficult to understand. Maybe we can change the language to be more easily legible, to a layperson.
Kind of Jim's League.
Right, what's the vibe, guys? But I would be interested in going through it kind of with a fine tooth comb to flag issues for later revisiting with the group. Like, do we want to modify this? Do we think there's a better way to do that?
It's still something the town board has to find, has the
Yes.
final decision on.
Sure, absolutely, but it would be like a recommendation, maybe. if we
That
went
is
through
exactly
this.
how it's done. I'll send you the statutes.
That'd be great. Okay, so maybe at the next meeting, could we, I guess we could send it to everybody and just like read through chapter 1, you know, and like flag anything that you think is wonky.
I can send it out to everybody, you just,
Yeah.
whatever you guys want, I could do it.
But it needs to be covered at a public meeting, like anything that we wanna,
Yes,
okay.
going
I guess
through it.
I've never done anything like that before, so I'm just. not
Basically, the
familiar.
full presentation has to be done by, I believe, it's been a while since we did this, but I think it has to, you have to actually have a public hearing. I don't remember if that's the town board does that or the plan commission, but there are
Okay.
statutory requirements that you have to meet
Okay,
in order to change the maps or the code.
okay.
But like I said, it was 2018 the last time it was done, and I'm sure code's changed
For the
since
town
then.
or for the county, do you know?
Town did.
Town zoning did, okay. Well, that's actually not that long ago, so that may not be like, we don't maybe need to do that, but I'd be interested just to read through it and if
Okay.
anything comes up. Okay, I appreciate it. Then I don't have anything else. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. to
Okay,
adjourn.
seconded. Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Regarding this vacancy,
Oh,
You can,
okay, who is this replacing? Do I need to know that?
Mike Spinks,
Oh,
I think. I have to look, I don't remember.
Who is it?
It's governed by, I have a spreadsheet at the office, I can tell you exactly who it was. I think you may have taken,
I took Mike's place, as I understand it.
well, there's, are you on the BZA also?
Yes.
I don't think you did. I
Okay.
think you filled, Bucks
oh,
Johnson's
Yeah.
position. That one I think is still Mike's,
Okay.
but I have to look to see what code says on how it needs to be.
Okay. All right, thank you.
all right, thanks, everyone. See you next month.
There's your minutes.
Thanks, Tiffany.
I know
Oh,
You're welcome.
probably
Leah
need to
isn't
clear
gonna be
that.
here.
Yes,
and
please.
Hunter isn't here.
Can you send me notes
Yes.
to make sure we're both on the same
Yes,
page?
I will, thank you.
Good evening.
You too, bye.
See ya.
Okay, we'll call the Town of Spencer Board of Zoning Appeals, August 25th meeting to order, and in attendance, Chris Connor, Ed Hines,
I think you said that.
and Ginger Ford. And I know Leah wasn't gonna be here, and I know she's not here. Let's see. Approval of minutes from the April meeting, which there was very little to nothing on there.
Right?
So, if we have any question, otherwise I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second that. Or I'll make that motion instead.
Okay.
I guess I'll
Say
second
that.
it.
All in favor? Aye?
I think we approved the minutes and the
Sign
Sign
my
those.
copy, please.
claims.
And I don't even know that you have to approve the claim since the plan commission did, but I just always include it just to be safe.
Okay, so we have some claims, and we'll make a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Second? Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll go ping pong back and forth here.
Yeah, good.
Okay,
Thank you.
time, I don't know, is there any new or old business? We haven't had any business for a while, so.
You guys generally don't.
It's just if somebody has some.
There are variances or conditional use, I don't even remember if conditional uses are usually,
No news is good news.
generally.
Any other comments? Otherwise, I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We got
2 minutes.
I think that's the shortest meeting on earth.
Makes up for how long the other one was.
Yeah. Good job. Okay.
Is that shut off?
I'll shut it.
Okay. I am,
Okay.
did you need anything from me on the other issue? Or not from me, but from Nancy?